Hey guys, it's me, Gabriel. Come to you with that evening spark. So, seeing yourself in another. I just had a moment of clarity, a moment of where, and it wasn't for long, but I saw my reflection, the essence of who I was, reflected in another. Or it rather, the concept really dawned on me for some reason. You ever have those moments where it just clicks, and it was real cool because what I realized is that that dynamic of how I treat others is a statement of how I'm treating myself. It's a reflection of how I'm treating myself. So it's not that you're trying to connect with the stranger, it's that you're seeing yourself in that stranger, and as such, unless you're a stranger to yourself, and a lot of times we are, actually, crazy thing, but when you can recognize the Christ within yourself and see that, then reflect on your brother, then you're able to really see him as he is. And you can say, well, okay, I find myself interesting. Let me reflect that onto this person, and as such, I will then see them interesting. I accept myself. I can then reflect that, and then accept that person as I accept myself. Because that's the thing. If you're hard on yourself, you hate yourself and attack yourself, that self-hate is going to reflect onto everyone else, and it's going to be measured by the manner in which you perceive them and love them. And when this happened, there was like a calm state of love and just pure acceptance. There was this sense of, it was what Jesus in the Course in Miracles tells it the holy instant. I felt like there was really a resonating dynamic, and he didn't say anything. The other person didn't say anything. It wasn't like suddenly angels dawned upon us necessarily per se, but there was a certain just the holes were lining up, and there was that straight shot, straight to the heart. It was real cool. And so that's what I would say is that you are always seeing yourself in another. So when you say, oh, I hate that so much about it, what you're really saying is you hate yourself. You may think, oh, I don't do those things. And yeah, that is well and all, but you have to remember, each person, in a sense, you very well could have ended up that way had you grown up in the exact same way. That's where I think empathy comes into play, where you recognize that, you reconcile with that truth. Had you grown up the same way as them, with the same circumstances, if every variable was the same, had you grown up that way, you very well would have turned out the same. I mean, you got to think, that's why they're the way they are. And so being able to just let that all be tossed to the wayside, that's their outward man. That's the ego man. But it's not the true man. It's not the true self-concept. When you're judging them, you're judging your own self-concepts, your own humanness. But remember, we all got humanness, guys. We all have our own faults and vices and shortcomings and things that just we're all working through. And more than that, it's just our manner for which we are able to thus perceive the world given our perception in this current state. It's the tangibility. It's all that stuff that seems to almost be at variance to the divine within us, the Christ consciousness. But I say that when we are able to look beyond ourselves, and hence this is why seeing yourself in another is so important in getting connected with the rhythm of God, is that by seeing yourself in another, you're able to one, you're getting beyond yourself, but you're getting beyond yourself while still seeing yourself in another. And it's about being more self-aware. And in that self-awareness, though, I think you're able to come to a really cool area, because when you become self-aware and you recognize and you take responsibility for how you feel, it's like, I am imparting who I am unto you. You can't change people necessarily, but the thing about it is, let's say your way has been going right, you've been going down a way that's good, and you impart that onto others. You're in a sense giving a part of yourself onto somebody else, and you're making an imprint on them. And really, if you think about it, that really does fall in line with the dynamic of influence. When you influence someone, you make an impression on them. You literally are impressing, like pressing a part of yourself onto them. And really, like I mean, if you ever really think about it, there's probably a lot of things that you do because of something that somebody had done for you or had made an impact on you in some manner of your life. Sometimes good, sometimes bad, but yet all the same there. A friend talked to me once about the dynamic of reincarnation, and how there's the traditional view that when you die you get reincarnated into like something else depending on the life that you live. But he was saying that really reincarnation is this micro transaction where everything that somebody does unto you is basically being reincarnated onto you, bit by bit, every little thing that happens. And so we are the conglomerate of the culmination of each person's impact they have on our life. And that's why I think everyone is different, everyone is unique, and yet we're all one entire reflection onto one another. So that's why it's so important to be kind to one another, to be gentle. Because what you're really doing is saying, I'm being gentle with myself. I'm being gentle with you, myself. That's why, when you forgive someone, what you're really doing is you're forgiving your enemies for your sins, as it were. And it seems a little like it doesn't seem to register, doesn't make sense. How are you forgiving somebody for your mistakes? But it's your reflection. The enemy is you, as so is the Christ. So what you're doing is you're forgiving yourself reflected onto another, and then from that reflection you're able to thus see him properly. And this is very much so in line with what Jesus talks about with the stick in the moat. First take the stick out of your eye, and then you will be able to help your brother more kindly by getting yourself squared away and forgiving the reflection that you have seen of your brother that's really of yourself. You're able to thus see him rightly, and as such help him accordingly, and you're helping him by the dynamic of you first helping yourself and loving yourself, and that really then even goes further back to the the golden rule, treating others as you treat yourself, because that's what you do. But then even the true two great commands of loving God with all your heart and loving your neighbor as yourself, that's what you're doing. You're then loving your neighbor as you are yourself. That's what you do. That's all you ever do. You hate your neighbor as yourself. You forgive your neighbor as yourself. That is why you are the enemy in the Christ within. And why it's so important then to be loving, even to your enemies. Jesus says, bless your enemies, those who curse you, because what you're really doing is forgiving the Christ within you. And when you do that, who could have enemies if they treat the reflection of themselves in every facet that they see with love and kindness and that same value that they treat themselves? So, that's what I got for you. That's it for today, folks. That's it for today. But I will see you guys around, and I hope this has helped. I hope this has helped maybe uplift your thought. I hope it's given you maybe some new insight and perspective on some of the teachings of Jesus, and how you can go forward now to better see each other and to take responsibility for how you feel and yet at the same time, I hope that it can bring a sort of vigor and zest to the manner in which you perceive your brother, not in a lackadaisical kind of way, lackadaisical manner, but in this very intentional, self-aware, introspectively self-aware dynamic. And from that, I hope that it'll help you love your brother and love yourself, most importantly. That's the biggest thing. So, the help you would give is most important to the degree for which you love and help yourself. For that will be the manner in which you can thus help others. Okay, we'll end it there. Have a blessed day. I'm so grateful that you can share this and like this and comment and just get some energy going with it. Get the action going. But we'll end it here, and we surely wish you well and have a blessed night. Peace.